What's up, everybody? We're back again. It's the Dadbod Golf Pod, episode 101. It's one of our favorite days of the week, Friendship Friday. Not only do we have friendship, but we probably got our tee time set. We're ready to go. It's Kyle, Nate, and Ben, and PGA Tour pro Scott Stallings. We finally harassed him enough. He's going to jump on and join us for Friendship Friday. Scott, what's up, dude? We're so happy that you finally get to do this with us.
Auburn is in Central Time, in case y'all didn't know.
Scott, we know you've been waiting a long time to be on this podcast, and we're glad we could finally make it up for you.
We nailed down we definitely nailed down the time zone thing this time, so we're ready to rock and roll. Ready to rock and roll. So you got a little time off before, I guess, you play again. So just kind of wanted to touch base, get to talk about what it's like to be a tour pro, and just kind of tell us your story, because you have a very cool story, I think, changing like your whole body, the whole style that you play golf. That's the stuff that we're interested in. So just kind of go back, like I'm always interested to know, at what point in time did you say, I'm going to be a pro golfer? Like this and this, I'm good enough. I'm going to be good enough. What was your aha moment, I guess, that you're going to be good enough?
Sometimes I'm like, how do I still do this?
Yeah.
I don't know. My coach, and I played at Tennessee Tech, my coach in college, my junior year, I was an All-American, and, coming from our school, that was a big deal. And, to make it to the NCAA tournament as an individual. And, I got to spend a lot of time with him. He played on tour in the 70s, and I just spent a bunch of time with him one-on-one, and he just kept telling me, he's like, you owe it to yourself to give it a shot. And man, I didn't know anything about it. But I just knew that, that was something I always thought about, but I didn't really know what it was. But I think kind of being on that stage of, a national event, playing in the All-American, playing in guys that I saw their, name and, golf week. I mean, that's how old I am. That's how we looked at the rankings.
Golf week rankings.
I remember the first time I made the top 10 in the golf week college rankings. I'm like, all right, maybe I could do this.
There you go. So it was the golf week magazine.
Kind of going on from there. But, my coach was always kind of on me a little bit as far as, trying to, always in the back of my mind. But maybe I had a little bit of entitlement kind of once he put that on me. I missed an economics exam, and this professor kept telling me that, I was doing pretty good in the class. And then once the season started, like my grades just like plummeted. I mean, I passed and like, did okay, but he's like, you really need to start thinking about it. And I played college tennis and I did this. And I said, sir, with all due respect, I didn't sign that golf scholarship to take your econ class. And
but I said, with all due respect.
Yeah. That's like the bless your heart thing. Like, if you say bless your heart, like you can have the biggest insult ever, but as long as you say bless your heart. But, and to
how'd that grade go for you?
I was in between a B and a C, and you can, we don't need to talk anymore. You
didn't get the B. I can promise.
I did not get the B, but I did go back. He was my advisor, and basically the guy that helped me come up with like a business plan of how to turn pro. He had me come back at school. This was after I'd already been on tour for a couple of years. He asked me to come speak back to the business class that I was in, and I saw the guy in the hallway, and I was like, "That's the man." Like I knew he knew who I was, and I knew who he was. And he stopped me in the middle and made a huge deal. He's like, I tried to talk this guy to playing pro golf.
Love it.
And there's like a big thing on like the guest of the day at the business hall. And he said, you see where his name is? It was like honored guest of the day. And he said, you see where my name is? And it was like all the faculty down in the corner. And, we always give each other a hard time. His name's Steve Isbell. He was a professor at Tennessee Tech. Great dude. But but
shout out Steve.
I don't know. He probably hated me forever, but I don't know.
It's a great story. It's a great story. I tried to talk Scott.
I gave Scott Stallings a C in econ.
Yeah.
I tried to talk him out of being a pro golfer. That's
great.
Thought
he was getting a B. Well, I showed him.
Yeah, exactly. So the right now from college, it's pretty clear cut the path. You kind of work your way. Everything runs through the Korn Ferry Tour. Q School is for the Korn Ferry Tour. You got to go through the Korn Ferry to get to the tour. How were things? I mean, it wasn't a terribly long time ago, but it was different. Like what was the journey to get to the PGA Tour? Because once you got there, you pretty much been there the whole time. So,
it was different. I mean, I had to have some sponsors. I had some local guys get me going, and guys that gave me a chance to do something I wouldn't have the opportunity to do otherwise. And investing in a golfer is literally the worst thing you could ever do, because you're investing in like a human. Like, I mean, y'all made fun of me walking down my driveway in the dark, but I mean, I could fall face first and never play again. I mean, just kind of the craziness of life that comes in, and just the, who knows. But I mean, I had some unbelievable guys come alongside me and, give me an opportunity for my wife and I go out there and give it a run. And I played a kind of a combination of the Hooters Tour and the eGolf Tour for, right just under 2 years. And then I was fortunate enough, I went and I finished 26th at Q School at Bear Lakes, and literally thought my life was over. Missed my tour card, never going to have a chance to do it again. And that was when the 25 went to the PGA Tour.
Yeah.
And then like, if you fast forward like 12 months after that, and I was having that conversation of after getting my tour card, and maybe like 14 months when I actually played my first 2 months on tour, and I literally got my head beat in because I missed my first 5 cuts on tour.
Oh boy.
Wow.
And I was like, I've wanted to do this my whole life. Why am I miserable? But it honestly was probably the best thing that ever happened. I missed my car by a shot, and like literally 3.5 weeks later, I was on a flight to New Zealand. I mean, I traveled a little bit, but I mean, country boy from Tennessee, kind of a confused redneck that likes all Boston sports. So there's a lot of storylines all the way in there.
Wow.
Next thing I know, I'm going to Australia, New Zealand, and off it went, man. I didn't get my card through the season, but I played well enough to keep my card, but basically have a free run at going to finals of Q School. And we were on the 4th hole it's like Panther Paw and Crooked Cat at Orange County, I think.
Yeah, down in Orlando. Yeah,
we were on the 4th hole, this dogleg right, par 5, and I was staying with my buddy Scott Brown, who's literally one of my best friends to this day.
No, Scott.
And awesome dude. And I hit this drive, and it was like Tiger Woods, like just perfect, like nice, just shaped the hole like way out there. And he looked at me and he said, "Bubba, if you don't get it done this week, you ain't ever going to get it done."
I love that. I love it.
And I finished in the top 25, got my card. And then I've been very fortunate enough to do it for this as I started my 12th season. So
that's awesome. That was what year? What year would you're officially, you're on the tour now?
2010. I got December 2010. 11 was my first year, but then they transitioned like when the season started and ended. And there was the gray tournaments that like no one knew what they were for, but they were kind of a big deal, but no one cared. If that makes sense.
No, I know what you mean.
Like the Viking Classic.
No, we have to do pods on some of those tournaments. Trust me, we know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, you come out. I mean, you get your card in the December of 2010. So 2011 is your first real year. You win your first year. You win the Greenbrier. So that's awesome in and of itself. So like your first win as a PGA Tour player is in your first year. Like, do you just feel like you're about to go win like 12 majors after that? Like, how do you feel after you win your first year on tour? Like, what does that feel like?
I mean, it's definitely a dream come true, and it's a total life change of everything. Kind of the thought of like, I mean, I've dreamt about this my whole life. And I mean, you asked earlier about, playing pro golf. I mean, I think anyone that plays at a high level, I mean, you always think about doing it against the best. And then it kind of happens and you're just like, Oh man.
Yeah.
I remember there's a picture in our house of me hugging my wife on the 18th green after I won in the playoff. And she said, please don't let me go. I have no idea what to do. And I said, and I literally hugged her and gave her a kiss. She was like, me either.
Yeah. I don't know what to do either. I don't know.
But I think we nailed it. But I think we nailed it. Yeah. Yeah. So
did you get starstruck? Did you playing with some of those guys? I know that we've asked some pros that, and they're like, yeah, but once you've practiced with a bunch of people, but it sounds like going out there and winning your first year, people knew your name then. I mean, that's not something where you're trying to get pairings on a on a practice round. Then you like, that guy won last week. That's the guy that won last week. Like all of a sudden you're known then.
Yeah, I guess to a certain extent, like, yes and no. I don't know. I mean, it was just kind of a very surreal feeling of, missing my first 5 cuts on tour to like talking about like, so then I went, I was supposed to go to Reno from the Greenbrier on a charter. Like I made the charter completely late. Next thing you know, I ended up on a different airplane going to Akron, which is a lot different. And then from Akron going to Atlanta Athletic Club for my first major. And it's like, hold on. I remember like I played okay at Akron, but I remember waking up on Thursday at my first major ever and just almost like rolling out of bed and telling my wife, it's like, I need like the world to slow down a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Like I don't know, as you get older, you definitely get wiser. I mean, just through experience and everything. I did not, the positive and negative thing about pro golf is like, there's two sides to look at it. There's always the chase, like, hey, I'm going to do this, then it's going to give me an opportunity to do this, an opportunity to do this. And that's why the guys that are truly established at the highest level, like, I mean, they just have a ton of discipline while they're always like striving, to be the best version of themselves on and off the course. They just have a little bit of a way to kind of compartmentalize that side of, not the chase, and, trusting in the ability that their schedule's good, their game's good. And, I just never been in a situation like that. So I was like, man, gas pedals on the right. Here we go.
Let's go.
37 events later, I was the redneck Sung JM. Just if there was a tournament, I played.
One of the greatest quotes on this pod ever.
The redneck is so true.
It's a good Instagram handle if you want to change it to that.
Yes,
I think it's probably available.
Change it, because we have talked about him constantly and play all the tournaments he plays in and how the guy's just a machine.
Yes. So I mean, just a completely different flip. Like I was playing all these tournaments because I've had to, trying to get it. And next thing you know, it's like, man, I get to go. They're going to let me come here. I was like, sweet. So then I ended up playing all these other tournaments and, stuff that I never even thought about. And I remember I got in HSBC in China my rookie year, and thinking of all the shots that you've seen, like the drivable 17th, that par 5 18th over the water. And I was like, I've seen these holes, like, and I'm in freaking China, like playing golf against the best players in the world. And, it was just kind of probably like the 2 or 3 months after me winning was just like looking back if you would have told me like all the stuff that I got a chance to do, like that was pretty wild. And I mean, I was, very, very thankful for the opportunity that it gave me and the opportunity, a chance to speak to guys like yourselves and, kind of tell a different side of it. I mean, people know about golf and how we play and different things like that, but that's just kind of boring. But, hearing all the nuance and the different things people don't know about is what I think is sort of interesting.
Yes.
So real quick, you said 37 events. I mean, is that 37 events in a season? That's not back to back, right? I mean, you had a couple breaks.
No, that's all. I slept in my bed. I played 37 events, and I was in Knoxville, Tennessee 37 days my rookie year.
Wow.
That's not
what a grind.
That, in case you were wondering, that's not sustainable.
No.
And is there a couple? I mean, there's a couple guys like that, right? There's a few of these dedicated core group of the Sung JMs of the tour that just, I mean, you see them every week. right?
I guess, but man, like, I don't know. I don't know how they do it. Maybe they just don't have anything else to do. But
just go get it.
I'm not saying
you're married at the time too, right? You're married.
Yeah, I've been married. I got married right out of college. I took my clubs on our honeymoon, and I don't know how my wife still puts up with me. We were telling this. We were with some friends from a church that don't really know that much about golf, and we're going on a little weekend trip here with our pastor and some of our friends coming up, and just talking about like taking holidays and different things like that. And it was like, I think it was 5 years into our marriage that we went on a trip that didn't involve my clubs.
Oh, wow.
So you got to go with it.
Yeah.
That's big.
They don't really make them like that, Scott.
She's a team player.
Yeah. She's definitely a winner. And I don't know. Maybe if I'm the winner. Is the best way to say that. But
yeah,
I definitely wouldn't be where I am without her. She's been a huge. She's my biggest supporter and my biggest critic at the same time, and kind of that happy medium, and kind of knows when to turn it on and turn it off. And we have 2 kids. I have a 8-year-old son, Finn, and a 5-year-old daughter, Millie. And we have a 1-year-old golden doodle who is slowly taking over our entire house. So
yes,
they do that. They'll do that.
We're figuring it out.
So that's pretty cool. You went on a church trip with a guy who doesn't know much about golf, but he's hanging out with a professional golfer. That's a pretty cool story.
That's kind of how our relationship started. He's like, man, I don't really know. And my dad's a pastor, and I knew a lot more about his job than he knew about my job, and we just kind of became friends. And we had a mutual acquaintance, and kind of put us together. And I mean, he's been a great resource for me, both on and off the road, and him and his wife have become, some of our best friends here in Knoxville where we live.
That's awesome.
Have you got your young ones started playing golf yet? I've got kids similar ages, and I'm trying to, figuring out how to make that happen.
I don't know, man. It's totally different when golf is the thing that takes you away from home. And, my kids are definitely of the age in school and different things like that. The last thing I want to do is put them in something that they already have, not like a disdain for, but just like a
negative taste.
That's kind of what Dad does. Like,
yeah,
let's try to do something a little bit different.
That's what takes
my son
away.
Yeah, my son does flag football, done
nice.
Soccer, baseball, basketball, and I want him to do everything. That's what I did. I played every sport, and kind of the specialization stuff and that's happening in youth sports now is something that I would like my kids to try to avoid.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter has done some dance and gymnastics, and that's a different. I thought golf parents were weird. Yeah, I mean, goodness gracious.
So it's fun.
The dance moms. Nate can attest to this. He works not far from where my daughter takes dance, and usually when I drop her off, I'll drop by and see him. I'm like, man, this crazy woman was doing this, and this lady was doing this.
They take it seriously.
They are so serious about it. And I'm the redneck guy that's over there. I'm like, hey, honey, just go have a good time. Everything looks great. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. And we're all about like, all right, you have more clothes on than any little girl out there. That's positive. And like, you have a good attitude. Your hair looks great. You're smiling.
It's key.
It's pretty great. Like we're winning.
Yeah.
So, just a different kind of thing. But, I started a few years ago, I started a program called Kids Play Free. And if you see it on my bag or different things like that we do with social media, the silhouette that is of my son from the Masters Par 3 tournament. So he, even though that people don't realize it's him, he knows. So
yeah.
We've got a couple courses here in town where kids can basically 365 days a year go play for free.
That's awesome.
And kind of give them a chance to go and learn from the game. And so he'll be interested in that if his friends are interested in it, but kind of more or less, he's just kind of going to do whatever. But I practiced with some of the Tennessee guys, and they were all laughing at me. He came out to hit balls with me one day, and I mean, he, at the top of his lungs, yelled at me and said, I don't know what I'm doing, as he's trying to hit this driver out of this bunker, like a greenside bunker, and he can't figure out why it's not coming out. I was like, buddy, like, all these guys listen to everything I say, and you won't listen. Like, so I'm going to let one of my friends teach him.
Yes.
That's smart. That's smart. So getting back to golf just a tad. So what would you say is, most like memorable either moment, accomplishment? Like what's the thing that you would hang your hat on, you're the most proud of so far in your golf career?
I mean, 12 straight years, 12 straight seasons on tour, I'm super proud of.
Yeah.
And just kind of going on all the life stuff and family and, just the, changes that I've done over the last few years. And, just to kind of be able to manage all that. And, when I went down that road, like I was never, golf was never the priority. I actually withdrew from a few tournaments, to make sure I remember being at Fort Worth and I got a chance to go see the guy at UCLA, which, that's a story of its own. But, a guy called and said, I can see you on Thursday. If not, I'm going out of town for a month. And I said, man, I don't want to wait. My life is more important than my career right now. And I need to kind of figure all this stuff out. So, the way to kind of be able to battle all that and, feel like I came out the other side and, not that always striving to get better and surround myself with people that are going to push me to find the best version of myself. And hopefully I can rub off on them a little bit. But, I would say that's probably the proudest moment. Was there another question in there as far as
that's it. No, that's it. That's
that
okay.
covers that.
But let's talk about that a little bit more because Scott used to be a dad bod. And we're the dad bod golf pod. And
now he's got the chiseled chin and he's got the muscles and all that.
You're inspiring to us. You're inspiring to us. I almost walked 18 holes the other day just because I knew I was going to be on a pod with you.
But you didn't.
But I didn't.
That would have been the poorest decision you could have made.
I still might. Let's talk about this. We talk about it. We talk about Rory doing his deal and
went
how
from fat Rory to fit Rory,
and the time it may take to kind of get used to your new body. And I mean, surely your swing has to change a little bit. Talk us through that whole I guess the turning point, what made it have to change, and then the process of it, and all the ins and outs. So.
Did you eat a lot of Subway, or is that just not real?
No.
I got him.
No, I think I mean a culmination of I'm trying to make every excuse on earth, blame everyone else, everything that you would hear from anyone that's unhappy or has adverse circumstances, whether it's body, life, addiction, whatever. I mean, it all culminates to the same. It was no one's fault. At the end of the day, it was no one's fault other than my own. I had enabled, justified, done every sort of life decision based off of how I played. As far as, I mean, and it's not to the excess of just not taking care of the things I need to take care of. It's man, I play good. I can kind of do it. I can eat what I want. I don't have to work out. I don't have to think of how I sleep. None of these things are just, if my golf score is good, everything else take care of itself. Mm-hmm. The next thing you know, you wake up, you're 29 and you're wondering why you feel like crap every day. And, just different things like that. But to be honest, in the spot of, I had tried to make some changes just to start seeing the difference in how I felt, but I had no resilience in order to make the change that it needed. So I was trying to do a little bit better, but my baseline was so bad. I really had, nowhere to go, but further down. Right. So, that was kind of what got me to this spot. And, I was able to find a couple of doctors to help evaluate a few different things. And, I started making one better decision than the other and going from there. But not to just hammer you, but man, what's the deal with 18? Let's try 9. Let's try a few days after work.
You daggum right.
And start building off of that.
I'm with you.
Paul Tesori. All right. And he's Webb Simpson's caddy. Webb is a very close friend of mine on tour, and I played with them on Sunday at Sea Island. And Paul asked me on the 13th hole, he's like, man, I have an unhealthy relationship with food. He's like, I work out real hard and then I eat bad, and it's like I earned it or I'm owed it, and I do all these different things. And I was like, why? is it ever okay just to say that you just wanted it and that's okay to say? He's like, well, not in my mind. I was like, why not? He's like, because you've just like kind of like screwed yourself in terms of your thinking and the way that you know, it's like this cause and effect or this justification mentality, which kind of takes place of everything. And then it's like, I got to hammer down. I mean, everyone probably overindulged on Thanksgiving, like everyone. And then you hear these like crazy, like 1,000-calorie workouts that people are doing Friday afternoon. It's like, why? You had a good day. You had enjoyed your family. Like, let's jump back on. Let's follow the process and, you know, one step in front of the other instead of this huge, like peaks and valleys moment. Like, you're not going to go walk 36, but you may walk 9 after work one day.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, you're like, man, I walked 9 holes 4 days this week. And I mean, that's more holes than you walked in the last year of your life.
Right.
Then
Exactly.
it starts to build off of there, not to hammer Paul, but it was just more of, he just sent me a text after. He's like, man, I just never thought where I could just literally like draw a line in the sand. Like, it's okay for me to want to enjoy this, but I'm going to have enough discipline and, you know, kind of everything else I do, not to hammer myself, but to enjoy the fact that I can, whatever it is. And I mean, he was just going along with everything that he was going to eat on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
But, and like the detriment it was going to have mentally, as far as like what he was going to have to do to make up for it, instead of just saying, man, I'm going to really enjoy the day with my friends and family. And like, I'm going to wake up Friday and like step back on
to work.
and get back to work. And, you know, I mean, unfortunately, I was the same way. I was like, man, if I just, like, I used to have these cheat days that were, I mean, like unbelievable. But at the end of the day, like, math wins. Like, all the math nerds win.
Yes.
And if you're at a 500 caloric deficit for 6 days and you eat 5,000 calories over on your cheat day, like, math wins.
Yeah. You just negated everything. You just,
it's over.
Yeah.
But, you know, just, I mean, you know, I was an idiot. I mean, I tried to do, you know, this huge like crash and then like fall and like feel like there was no like, you know, man, we're gonna have these little ripples. We're not gonna have these huge peaks and valleys. We're gonna understand. We're gonna take little dips. We're gonna take little gains, and you know, figure out the best way to go and kind of find what works best for me. I don't know if ridiculed is the right word, but I get questioned a lot about some of the ways that I train. And to be honest, like, I never went into it for golf. I went into it as a little bit more of a mental challenge to, you know, the monotony of golf sort of, you know, took a little bit of the love of the game away. Because I mean, ultimately, there's the only ways to get better is time, and you know how much you're willing to commit to what it's going to take to get. I mean, obviously that's easier said than done, but at our level, like, you know, finding the little nuances and different things to make a significant gain at our level is time. And, you know, finding, you know, the little bit of things to kind of make up the difference in, you know, whether it's a quarter of a shot around or, you know, figuring out all those different things. So I wanted to find a way to, you know, have a little bit more creativity in the way that I trained, and, you know, sort of the, you know, higher intensity CrossFit-ish, you know, whatever you want to call it, style training very much appealed to me. Nice. And in the term of like, I could write a workout and do it basically 7 different versions of it in 7 different days and get completely different results, whether it was a programming set, whether it was time, whether it was on the minute, whether it was AMRAP, all these different things. And it became such a mental escape from the sort of day in, day out grind of golf. And, you know, that's kind of what it appealed. And so I put a little bit of that together, a little bit of diet together, a little bit of sleep recovery. And next thing you know, you kind of get to this point wherever I'm at.
So
do you do CrossFit?
Yeah.
Yeah,
you do CrossFit.
Oh, not only did he CrossFit,
you're in a CrossFit dungeon right now.
He started training with like the #1 CrossFitter in the world.
Blaine Barber.
I mean, like, so, you know, if you were gonna like say like you grew up and you had like access to like Tiger, but you didn't really play golf, but you like knew he knew about Tiger. So I went to Rich Running with Tennessee Tech. We didn't really know each other very well at school, but after the fact, we had done a few different things with the university, and I just started kind of dipping my toe into training a little bit. And I said, hey man, I think I'm going to give this a go. What do you think? And he's like, well, he's like, you're not really going to do to the extent of like what I do. He said, but like, there's a lot of benefit that could help. So, I mean, I basically had a chance to learn from him. So that kind of fast tracked a little bit of the way to, get me to where I am today. And I mean, I've had the chance to, whether like Olympic athletes, high level CrossFit athletes, military guys, strength coordinators, endurance athletes, all the different, it's been crazy the number of people that I've had a chance to take, a little bit of my story and go and kind of learn from people that are the best in the world and what they do. So it's been super cool.
So is this overrated or underrated? All right. So was there much time adjusting to, you lost like 50 pounds, right? 50, 60 pounds.
The biggest I got to 252. I did another podcast and they were like, we want to know the numbers, man. Like we're looking at these pictures and we're trying to like
figure it all out.
Yeah.
So the biggest I ever was 252 pounds.
175. All right. Ready?
Go.
All right. I was 252. I got down to 177, and that was probably over about a 18-month process.
Wow.
And I mean, that wasn't like a strong fit 177. That was like a, hopefully the wind didn't blow me over.
Right.
kind of situation. Like I wasn't strong. Like I had a decent cardio, but like nothing to the extent of, I didn't have a lot of resilience. Like, I just was thinner than I was, and, started understanding a little bit more about strength training and, kind of what that looked like. And, I just wanted to be the guy that I could play as much as I needed to. I could train as much as I needed to. I could travel. I could be with my kids. I could be with my wife, and, not come back from on the road and like
have to go sleep.
Like literally look like, and just kind of be able to do kind of whatever. And, that's kind of my mentality now. Like I want to be able to run. I want to be able to lift. I want to be able to play. Like I want to, be with my kids' sports. I want to, do whatever that is to be the husband and father that my kids deserve. And, to try to be the best version of myself on and off the golf course. And, all the things that kind of make that happen is, it starts with me and, relying upon the people that I have around me to kind of help, make sure I'm, following the process along and kind of be able to live that out every day.
Love it. So how hard was it to, so you're still playing golf at this time. Like how hard was it to adjust swinging a golf club after losing a pretty decent sized child, from 75 pounds? Like how hard is it to adjust, or is it sort of like a gradual thing because you're playing the whole time? So
yeah, I mean, it wasn't like I took like a huge break.
Yeah.
I took a year off and I came back and I was 50 pounds less. I mean, it was, kind of, which was probably a positive too, because I was playing all the way through it. But I mean, it was unbelievable, like how much better my body felt. Like, and I mean, I still lean the shaft quite a bit, like through the hip. But I mean, when you can't turn and your right hip is basically like a concrete block.
Yeah.
There was a lot of angles that didn't work very well for a guy that didn't move very well.
Yeah.
And so like I had some back problems, some hip problems, and just stuff that like a guy in his, late 20s, early 30s just shouldn't really deal with. And,
right.
Knock on wood, like I'm doing pretty good. I've got an unbelievable PT and trainer, and Adam Curley can't say enough about him as far as him getting me to this part and, educating me and, continually pushing me down the road and, get me to where I am today. And, which, I mean, it's a huge adjustment to just kind of know that, to the furthest extent of the effort, as far as what it took me to get through, just on a daily, day-to-day basis on tour. And that's not like I'm crawling like up the stairs, like, barely making it to my bed at night. It's just like, man, I just don't feel like I should, if I'm truly one of the best guys in the world at this.
Yeah.
And, so, the ability to kind of, go through my day and get done. And, I do like the mentality of go to bed tired, but it's a different kind of tired.
Yeah.
A little bit more of a self-induced and, try to, sharpen yourself up a little bit instead of, man, I just hope I can make it to 8 o'clock.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So
I heard somebody put it one time. They say, you want to go to bed. I forgotten the way they put it, but it said worn out, not worn down. There's you want to wear yourself out instead of wearing yourself down.
100%. Like I want to be the one to wake up in the morning and be like, all right, maybe I kind of pushed it a little too hard, but I also understand how to do that, kind of reel it back in on the other side as well.
Right.
Exactly. So a couple quick things and we'll let you go. So you played a lot this early part of the season. One in particular at the Bermuda Classic, Butterfield Championship, was some of the worst weather I've ever seen. On the first round, weather was terrible. The last round, weather was even worse. And you go out and shoot 62, and when everybody else is just, blowing up, you shoot 62, jump all the way up to a top 5. Like, how bad was it?
The 7th hole, the fairway bunker, was 237 yards to cover, and guys were bouncing their driver in the bunker.
That's amazing.
So they're carrying it
professional golfers hitting it 205 yards for it to roll out and go in the bunker.
That's incredible. That's incredible. How do you do that? How do you pull that off? Like, what do you
just hit stingers?
Oh, man.
Because you're standing over a shot, and any other day it's a 9 or an 8, going in the green, and you got to pull a 4-iron.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a different mentality. Like, I just knew that I was going to go out there and have a good day. I was fortunate to the fact that I played the back 9. I was one of the first groups off, so I had a good draw, which, I mean, anyone that says that doesn't affect rounds like that is a liar. I mean, right. I had this situation, and to be honest, like, if the weather had continued, I would have definitely stayed. But I see the Braves jersey back there.
Yeah.
That day was truly one of the craziest days ever. So with Bermuda, with being such a small country, there's only one flight a day on each airline back. So there's a 3:30 flight, and I teed off at about 8:15. And I get done, I shoot 62. It takes me forever to do media. And I was going to try to make the flight because my wife was going with me to Mexico, and I wanted to meet her in Atlanta to fly out Monday, where she was meeting me, connecting from Knoxville, and we were going to fly together to Mexico. That was just going to be a huge benefit, just to be able to travel together down there and everything. So I get done, do my media, and I get on the plane, and I finally make it. And I text one of my buddies that lives in Atlanta, and I said, hey, man, you got any interest in going to that World Series game? He's like, I'm on there looking right now. And I'm on the airplane. And I text him when the back wheels take off. I said, book him. He picks me up about 6:15. We're in the parking lot about 7:15. Met a couple of his buddies doing tailgate. And a guy handed me some food and a random beer. And I sit down, and the guy hits the grand slam. And I'm like, what is going on?
Let's go. That is so
Greatest day of my life.
Yeah, and my wife's like, buy a lottery ticket, buy this, buy that.
Yes.
Like, what else needs to happen?
That's amazing. So
it's like the greatest day ever for it to be if you're a Braves fan and you shooting 62, and then all of a sudden you show up and that's phenomenal.
Yeah, I never knew that. I didn't know if I would ever have a chance to go to a World Series game again. I mean, who knows if I do? But just the whole culmination of that day was
awesome.
Pretty wild. I'll definitely never forget it.
All right, we're looking at a schedule. What's the next time you're probably going to be teeing it up?
Palm Springs. I'll play 5 in a row on the West Coast.
Palm Springs. So that's obviously the
American Express.
American Express. Okay. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
You're going to play 5 weeks in a row. So be on the lookout for that. And then we wanted to ask this to a tour pro because we kind of got an argument over it, and we'll let you go, promise. Okay. So the scenario is you can hit your drive. You're in the middle of the fairway every single time, 300 yards in the middle of the fairway every single time you hit a drive, or you make every 10-foot putt you look at. What is a
10-footer? I would never even think about it.
We said that it's different. We said
it's different for amateurs than pros because we're never going to hit it 300. So we would take the drive and take our chances on the green just so we can outdrive all of our buddies.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Everybody that does this for a living wants the 10-footer. Like I can take gimmies all day. Are you kidding me? Yeah.
That's awesome.
I mean, you know how many 10-footers I've had on 18 and be like, I'm done.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Just walk in the score sim and be like, I made that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Best golf movie, Scott, before you leave.
Best golf movie? You want like philosophical or like true golf movie?
Just no one that when it's on, you have to watch it.
Oh man. Probably Happy Gilmore. I mean, I grew up. Yeah. Like I'm not like a Bagger Vance or anything like that. I mean, I like the movie, but Francis We Met was pretty good.
Greatest game ever played.
That's a good one.
Yeah, greatest game I ever played was pretty good. But I mean,
Caddyshack.
Caddyshack.
I mean, I think Caddyshack's great, but I didn't grow up in that era. I grew up in the Billy Madison and
Billy Madison, Happy
Gilmore, and go from there. So
love it, dude. Thanks so much for this. We really appreciate it. You're awesome, and we hope that we get to talk again soon. Good luck on the season, and like I said, just appreciate you doing this. You inspired me. I'm going to go walk 9 holes tomorrow. So.
Hey, go get 10 minutes on the rowing machine before you go back in the house, Scott.
Yeah, I've spent enough time in this gym today. I was doing a little bit of golf stuff, and I had my daughter doing we were doing this core finisher today, and I had to leave workouts a little bit earlier, do something with my son's school, and I had to tell my guys I was finishing, and I asked my daughter, I was like, you want to go with me? And she'll count reps and time and everything, and she was down here wearing me out.
So, I love it.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Hilarious.
That's awesome. Well, dude, get back to the fam, and thanks again. Hopefully we'll talk soon.
Thank you,
awesome, man. You guys have a great day.
Thanks, guys. See you, bro.
All right, bye. And he's out. That's Scott Stallings, PGA Tour Pro. And this was episode 101 of the Dadbod Golf Pod. It's finally over.
The extended version.
Always stroking.